Hola amigos, ¿cómo están? Hey guys, welcome back to the Language Tutor Spanish series. I'm so happy you're hanging out with me on this lesson because we have a really cool lesson in this episode for you. We're going to be talking about the verb faltar. And not only that, we're going to be talking about the noun form of it and the adjective form of it. I'm going to give you a lot of great examples of how to use this word in its many forms in your conversations. This was a viewer request, and if you're new to the channel and you're saying, how did people send you a request? Well, all you have to do is go to Facebook and look up the Language Tutor Spanish, join our page, and we can communicate, and you're going to be able to share great ideas and conversation and all kinds of things, all things Spanish right there on the page. And so come join us, and also check out the podcast, Language Tutor Spanish Podcast. And if you haven't clicked subscribe in the notification bell right here on this channel, please do so you don't miss any of our lessons. But with that, let's jump right into this. Okay, so we're talking about this word right here, and it is faltar. It means to lack. It can mean to miss. And you know what? I think the best way for us to talk about this word is just to start throwing up some examples. So we're going to start with it as a verb, all right? So I just want to give you some examples. We'll talk about each one. So here is an example of it as something is not where it should be. It's missing and it's not where it's supposed to be. It's misplaced. Look at this example here in Spanish. Me faltan mis llaves. Me faltan mis llaves. I'm missing my keys. Where are they? How many times have we had to ask that question? Where are my keys? Anybody seen it? I know that's been the case at my house plenty of times. So that's one example of how something is missing. It's not in place. Me faltan mis llaves. All right, let's throw up another one. Hoy tengo que faltar al trabajo. Hoy tengo que faltar al trabajo. Today, I'm going to have to miss work. I have to miss work today. So that's, in this case, we're missing an obligation. We're missing an appointment of some type. We can use faltar in that sense as well. Okay, now, the next example is something was expected but did not happen. I'm going to use a form that could be used with él or ella or even usted, because typically when we use an example like this, we're talking about somebody else, third person. So here's the example. Me prometió que me pagaría ayer, pero faltó a su palabra. Okay. So he or she promised me, or maybe usted, to promise to pay me yesterday. Pagaría, would pay, that's a conditional tense. Pero faltó, lacking his or her word. So that's what we're saying. They're lacking their word. They missed their word. Past tense. And that's a good way to use faltar also. And that's a good past tense example for you as well. Okay, let's change to a different type, an opinion that something's missing. And a good way to talk about this is when we talk about food, right? Because we like to cook, spice it up, put our own recipes in. Here we go. A la sopa le falta sal y pimienta. The soup is lacking salt and pepper. Okay, there you go. So I think we've had some really good examples about how to use this as a verb. I want to switch now to adjectives. Okay, now look at this sentence here. Es un hombre falto de paciencia. He is a man lacking patience. And we say lacking of, falto de paciencia. Now that's a good example of it as a masculine adjective, but let's look at a feminine as well. La compañía sigue falta de éxito. Okay, sigue falta de éxito. The company is continuing or following on, lacking success. Okay, they're not making it. Still lacking success. All right, so that's a good example of the adjective forms. Let's now switch to noun forms. Okay, here's a good form as a noun. No vamos a construir la casa por falta de dinero. Okay, so we're not going to build a house por meaning by reason of. Falta de dinero, lack of money. Okay. Now, here's another example in that same kind of situation, but this time it implies errors. Yes, it can be errors as well. Hizo 4 faltas históricas en el libro. So he or she or usted made 4 errors, historical errors in the book. Okay, 4, you missed it, you lacked, you didn't quite have it right, is what you're saying, but it's really implying errors, all right? Now, I want to combine it with the verb hacer now, so you can understand one other way, because when we combine it with hacer, it implies need. Yes. So here's an example. Me hace falta mantequilla para hacer el pastel. Okay, so we need that butter to cook this. Okay, me hace falta mantequilla. So we're missing the butter to cook this. All right, one more example like that. Nos hace falta más tiempo para terminar el trabajo. So we now are lacking more time in order to finish the work. And so we need more time to finish this job, this work, okay? Now, I'm going to do one more example. We can also use this with echar. You've probably heard echar de menos before, maybe not, but it's going to have kind of the same connotation. Here is an example. He echado en falta la sal en la comida. Okay, he echado en falta la sal en la comida. So, didn't put in the salt. We're lacking salt in that food, okay? So that's just one example like that where you can use it in terms of food with echar. So I've given you a lot of good ways that you can use faltar, noun, verb, adjective, and I hope that you'll practice and bring these into your conversation. Practice first the noun form, and then the adjective form, and then the verb form, or in a different order, whatever you're comfortable with. But take one, practice it, then bring in another way, practice it, bring in another way. You'll find yourself solid on all ways to use this, okay? Well, guys, thanks for hanging out with me on this lesson. It's really cool to be able to help you out with your Spanish. In the meantime, I'll see you soon, but I want to wish for you paz y bendiciones, peace and blessings for you and all your friends and your family. And hey, come hang out with me on the podcast and let's practice, okay? I'll see you next time in the Language Tutor Spanish. Hasta pronto. Friends, thanks for watching the Language Tutor. If you have a question for me, feel free to leave it in the comment section below the video. And please click subscribe and the notification bell so that you'll never miss any of our language lessons.